Good morning. Sorry, it's been ages again, hasn't it? I'll try harder. And I keep saying that, and I don't, do I? Well, I do, but I've just got so much other stuff to do. I can't believe how busy it's been since Christmas. Let me fill you in. We've got a lot to talk about. Right, let me show you in here, because it's chaos. We are at breaking point, honestly. It was bad enough before, but I bought a new tank. You're here. This one. Which we're going to use, I'm just fiddling with it at the moment, we're going to use for carbonation, so we can do keg beer properly. So the current inventory of equipment is 1000 litre HLT with some new stickers. Thank you, David, for the crap mark sign, which you gave me ages ago and I didn't put it on, but I've put it on now. Another one from 9 Lives Brewing. We had one from Gruff, which I think you saw last time, and Raw Culture, of course, from Chris up there near Aberdeen. I have obviously the mash tun, 700 litres, copper, 1000 litres, and then we've got crankshaft, ex-crankshaft, 1000 litre tank, the ex-elusive 1000 litre tank, another 1000 litre tank. We've got a visitor. Hello. I'll be with you shortly. Another 1000 litre tank, which we just had from Crankshaft, and obviously the one that we had from Sean at Tom's Tap. So 3,400 litres of capacity, and that's enough to help us to grow. But unfortunately, we haven't got the storage space, the working space to do much. And I'll explain that in a second after I've said hello to our visitor. Right, where was I? Another satisfied customer. Thank you for your order, sir. Placed on the website. You may have noticed some beer starting to return, not millions and millions of them, but enough. And I'm just sort of drip feeding cans into the fridge, a keg at a time, 50, 60 at a time. I'm just keeping on top of the flow at the moment. So if you do want beer, we've got loads of Lockie, we've got loads of Murgy. Stout is running down now. We're not seeing the demand from the trade. And I'm not about to brew, 800 litres for can. So we'll run those down, replace it with something else. Once we've finalised that recipe to replace that line. And I've got about 400 cans of Moss and Dragon, which are in keg currently in there, carbonating and ready to be put into can, probably next weekend, I think now. They're not quite fizzy enough to do this weekend, so we'll just let them continue. Yeah, and the fridge is still working. This thing's still not cooling. Why are you not cooling? 12.2. Right, I've got to get back on with washing these casks. So I'll get a few more of these done and I'll think of some other stuff to talk about. Right, caught up a bit now. I have cleaned all them casks. They're over here now. Ready to be filled. The problem is, oh no, it's cooling now. That's good. Right, let me flip the camera around. I've forgotten the memory card for my camera, so I'm back on my phone again today, guys. I'm sorry. All right, we're going. We're 11.8 now. We've dropped half a degree. It's actually circulating properly now, so, and it's nice and cold. I don't know what was going on there. A bit odd. Squeeze through that. Right. I don't know whether any of this video today is going to make any sense at all, but I just wanted to give you a view of where we're up to, because I'm really, really struggling now with space. It's getting a bit silly. Muddy puddle to clean up there. That actually is the remnants of, looks lovely, doesn't it? That's the remnants of the Halloween spiced stout that I did with Steve from Brewery Tour. One of the empties has been hovering around, waiting to be cleaned. I'm just wondering whether it comes across on the camera or not, how ridiculous it is in here now for space. Let me give you a walkthrough. I'll show you where we're up to. So we've got, as you know, zoom out a bit, there you go. We've got these 3 cold rooms. They're pretty much full. We put in there 21 Moss and Dragons last weekend. I've got about half a dozen cross stouts. I've got, I don't know, 5, 6, 7 kegs of Murgy Straight. We've got keg Get Lucky, we've got Keg, Most and Dragon, which we'll be probably canning soon. And essentially they're full. Now, this is tomorrow's racking. They're just empty at the moment, but that's the Murgy Straight. Based on these new tanks, we're getting, depends how stingy we are with what's in there, but we can get anywhere from 18 to 21 containers out of there. And they've then got to go somewhere. Now, we're all right at the moment because the temperature's, hovering around 9, 10 degrees Celsius. So they can stay out. But as soon as we start getting into end of March, beginning of April, and we get some of these warm weekends, that's not good enough. So that's got to go bigger, and I can't make it any bigger. And I can't go up. And I've not got the floor space anywhere to do anything with it. So we'll come back to that in a minute. Empty can containers. Then we've got the grain here. This is about 6 weeks worth of grain for us. If they were stacked properly, pallet and a half, probably 25 kilo sacks. I'm just about to order, because I'm running out of a few bits, I'm just about to order, in fact I've ordered, the next pallet. I'm not keeping it all, some of it's for other people, but I've got nowhere to put that. This pallet here contains cans from Staffordshire Brewery, mixture of silver, which I like, and black, which I'm using because unfortunately they ran out of silver, so we're going to go black for a bit, but that's all right. Once the label's on, you can't tell anyway. So that was about 1,000 cans. I've got 2 kegs, these poly kegs we've started to fill now, 2 poly kegs of Get Lucky, which should be in the cold room but don't need to be, and I've opted to keep them out because they're already carbonated, so they're just sat there waiting to be squeezed in there when I get a minute. This is just sanitizer-y stuff, there's no beer in those. The workbench is now, well, that's my only workspace. That's where I've got to do everything, weighing things, counting things, bonkers. All my shives and keystones ready for going in the casks over there, just counted out enough. That's exactly what I've got, is exactly what we need. So reorder point for those, need to order. These come in 250s, these come in 1,000. So there's a few hundred quid worth of plastic bits there that we've got to buy. Anyway, necessary. So once we've used those, we'll reorder. Chemicals, I've still got another caustic somewhere, but we're sort of halfway down. That's going to need reordering in the next probably month, maybe. And obviously the cask washer, which you've seen before, the most dangerous cask washer in the universe. But if you wear the visor, it's all right. It just stings a bit. I have added a mechanical water meter to for when we're filling the mash tun, because I really wasn't happy with the accuracy of this thing. And what I've discovered is when we're sparging, this is also inaccurate. Even though it's a hot temperature one, from 30 to 90 Celsius, it's supposedly right, but when you're drizzling in through the sparge arm, I don't know what it's doing, but it's not measuring the amount of liquid that's going in. It's just picking random numbers. So that was 50 quid, completely wasted. I'd a mind to send it back to Amazon, but it's probably my fault for not reading the specification. So I need a way of measuring very small, a very low water flow, like 7 litres a minute or something, when we're sparging. And anyway, we're still making beer, so it doesn't matter. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago we've rejigged the recipes now, so we use the full tank from full to the brim to completely empty, and I've adjusted the grain weights and things, so we know exactly what we're going to get out at the end now. So it kind of doesn't matter if we know what we're sparging with or not, as long as the tank's empty. We know we've used, well, actually it's 980 litres top to bottom. So we can just calculate, as long as we hit the gravity before we hit the boil, or during the boil, at the start of the boil, then that usually follows through into hitting the target gravity at the end. You've seen all this nonsense before. That's currently full, Murgy straight. It's probably full to about here, which previously gave me 767 litres into containers at the end. My issue is I can't get to the bit at the bottom. So if we're racking into cask or keg, actually, we use this valve here, but then we've got the bit between there and the dump valve at the bottom, which is about 90 litres, so 3 full kegs, and I can't get it out because it's not conical enough to drop the yeast out. So we're sort of tipping this thing forward to try and get a bit more out of there. I probably need a racking arm or some sort of yeast upstand in there, I think, just to get the last bit. Even if I can't get all the 90, if I can get, you know, a couple of kegs out of it, it just feels so wasteful dumping it because it's a bit yeasty. I could keg it and then let it settle out and can from it, but as I said, we're really trying to get away from that now. It's just messy. This one I've got a yeast upstand for, so it doesn't matter. We're drawing the beer from about there. And the yeast settles around this little up pipe, so we can get pretty much everything out of that. That was where we got 21 containers out of that last week. For carbonation, we're nearly set with this now. The top half has been tested. What I haven't tested is the carbonation kind of rig that goes on the end there. I was offered one by a local supplier for quite a chunk of money. I was very tempted, but I realised I had almost all the bits in stock, just bits of tri-clamps and things. I ended up buying about 50 quid of the stuff off AliExpress and a second-hand carb stone. I managed to build what should have been about 700 quid's worth of carbonation rig for, 100 quid probably. Some of it is on there at the moment. Let's go around this side, I'll show you here. There you go, that's some of it, not all of it. Little pigtail tap, tri-clamp, and then I've got a sight glass and carb stone to go onto that. So what that's going to let me do is fermenting this one with the yeast upstand, drop it bright, transfer it to this one, pressurise it. This tank's good for 1 bar, which is fine if I can cool it to 4 degrees, and then we can push CO2 in the bottom, set the spunning valve on the top, and carbonate it in, well, it's taken us 2 weeks at the moment, 10 days to 2 weeks to carbonate in kegs, so, if we're doing it static, a couple of days, if we can find a way to circulate the beer in and out through the carb stone, then, hours, potentially, and then we can do closed transfers into kegs, which means we can do a few more styles which are a little bit more interesting when it comes to oxidization, if we can mitigate that. Hop stock, a few cans. I'll tell you about the yellow ones at some point. I know a few of you spotted it on a social media post. We're working on this next brew, so it says under construction on the can because it is. I'm not selling these. They are for review purposes and feedback, which I'll cover in a later video. Squeeze through, there we go. So, here's the bigger news, right? Check this out. Oh, slightly bigger news. I broke another bloody Karcher, didn't I? I let it freeze, and unfortunately, it's burst something inside. So as soon as you switch it on, it just pumps water down the car park. You can see where it's been running down there. Ta-da! There's a skip. What's the skip for, you might ask? Well, let me show you. I can't show you because I haven't got the keys. This unit, the one that we're struggling with, is from where I'm stood back here at the back wall down to that corner there, 10 metres, and then the width across there 5 metres, and obviously because it's a rectangle, 10 metres and then 5 metres across the back. My cold rooms roughly metre and a bit each, pallet width inside, and I can't use that bit because we wouldn't be able to get in and out unless I move the door, so we're kind of stuck. The unit next door behind this big wall is exactly the same size as this one, just if you can imagine it, copy paste, but absolutely full to the rafters with Brian the landlord's shite. So Brian, the landlord, has agreed to remove his stuff. It's not all shite, to be fair. There's some good stuff in there that he needs to relocate. But the stuff that he doesn't want to keep is going in that. And then what we've got then, I can't get in, I'm sorry. I'll tell you in advance so you don't get excited. What I've got then is a double door into basically the other half of Unit 2. And I've agreed, provisionally, a deal. So we're going to take it. And then I've got the space to do lots of exciting things with. I'm not going to spoil it now, but I'm hoping by Easter time we'll have something really interesting to show you. And I'm sure I'll dip in and out with bits of information along the way, but watch this space, I guess, is what I'm saying. It's a bloody big skip. What else has happened today? Do you know the Ginger Brewers? Well, Dad of the Ginger Brewers, or maybe one of them, I'm not sure it's both. Dad of the Ginger Brewers came in the other week and we were talking about travel in Germany and how much we love this bread, and he's only bloody found some that's made in the UK. Ryan wheat bread, really dense it is, with a bit of butter, and oh, it's gorgeous. So yeah, he just popped along and dropped some off, because he buys beer off me on a regular basis. Thank you, Ken. And yeah, I was really pleased. He just pitched up on the car park, sneaked in when I wasn't looking, and left it on the worktop here. And I caught him trying to drive off. Secondly, we have had the lovely folks from Wrenbury Cider, and I don't know if it's called Wrenbury Cider. Yeah, Wrenbury Cider is the name, and they're interested in doing some canning. So they came to have a look at the cannula and the duo filler to get their heads around it. We had a little play with the equipment, showed them how it worked, and just to say thank you, they've brought me some special cider from their very own apples, which I thought was really lovely. So that's my evening sorted anyway. In fact, I'm going to get home and get them consumed in front of the telly with my feet up, because I've been in here all day and it's not cold, but it's bloody damp and I've had enough. So guys, watch this space. We'll be back as soon as possible. Have a great week.